welcome to the first ever episode of the Practical Parenting Vlog hosted by the Practica program. My name is Zia Reddy. I'm joining Lizette van Heestien from the Practica program, and today we are going to talk about all things early childhood development. But before we begin, Lizette, please will you tell us a bit more about who you are and what it is that you do?
Well, I am a co-founder of the Practica program. I wrote the parents' guides. I have a degree in social science, and I am an expert in early childhood development. So I have done nothing other than read books and study and write about child development my entire life, as an adult. And it's my absolute passion, and I'm extremely excited about the opportunity to be able to share, tips and ideas and practical advice on this platform. I really want to thank you for this.
So the Practica program has been around since 1993, and over the years, they have managed to build a huge community of like-minded parents who all make use of the Practica program to help their little ones develop to their fullest potential. And what's great as well is that many parents often share videos of their little ones doing the Practica program activities. And today we're going to talk about this one that Practica shared back in October last year.
Can you grab it? Good job, good job, good job, good job. Good job! Well done, Lulu.
So as you can see, it's only 18 seconds long, but there's a lot happening in this little baby's mind. Lizette, can you tell us a little bit more about what is actually happening in this video?
It's absolutely fascinating to put yourself in the shoes of a little newborn baby. To just think about the fact that they don't even realize where their bodies end and the environment around them starts. That is just mind-boggling. They've got so much to learn. So for this little baby to be able to reach out, use both hands, this video was taken when the baby was about 3 months old. And to do this involves a lot of development. So firstly, it involves the eyes. So this is the foundation of eye-hand coordination that's being laid when a baby reaches out to grasp something for the first time. Then, obviously, they have to learn to use the two halves of their body together, because the two halves of your body are managed or controlled by the two halves of your brain, the two sides of your brain. And they need to learn to speak to each other for these little two hands to be able to be brought together at the midline to grasp something. And then thirdly, they need to be able to open and close their hands to be able to grasp something. So that's fine motor control. And you'll notice that a baby at the beginning, they grasp something at the pinky side, strongly grasping it at this side of the hand. And then during the first year of life, the focus changes to the point where they actually can pick something up in a pincer grasp on the other side of the hand at the end of the year. So this is the very first development of the grasping action. And it's also, amidst all of this, whenever a child does something that has a specific impact on the environment around them, they are developing intellectual skills, because that is what intellectual abilities involve, is knowing that you can have an effect on the environment. So, if the fact that this little thing is ringing is now not interesting to the child at this stage, but the more you do this little activity, the actual sound that's coming from the rattle is going to become more and more interesting. And at the age of 4 months, you'll notice that a child will shake the hand that's holding the rattle more than the hand that's not holding the rattle to produce a sound. So this baby is now 3 months old and not interested in the sound, but at the age of 4 months, you'll see that the interest shifts to the sound. So these are just such interesting little things that you can notice out of this simple little activity.
That's so true. It's incredible to think that something so small, something so everyday can have such a profound impact on the development of a little one. But now thinking about all of the stuff that's happening in this baby's brain, how often would you say that interactions like these should be facilitated by parents?
Well, babies are programmed to want to be stimulated. In fact, it has a very positive effect on them emotionally and socially, and physically. They develop better and grow better and gain weight better when they get a lot of attention. So it's not really something unnatural to play with a baby or to stimulate them. So it's something that we can do and use the baby's cues to guide us. So babies typically are in different states. You know, they can be in a deep sleep, they can be in a light sleep, they can be crying, they be in different states, but they can also be in a calm and quiet alert state where they don't move their bodies, but their eyes are open and you can see that they are, you know, they're bright and awake. And then they can be in an active alert state where they are bright and awake and moving their limbs and kicking and moving. That's when they're most receptive for stimulation, when they're in an alert state. And you can see when you play and engage with them at this young age, when they're about 2 months old, they're not able to look away. At the age of 3.5 months, they can look away. So they will break eye contact when they've had enough to recharge. So when you play with your baby and they've had enough and they need to process, they will literally look away. And when they're ready, they'll engage and make eye contact again. That's at the age of 3 months. But when your baby's younger than that, you'll have to look at other signs, like they will tense up, their little bodies will tense up, or their limbs will tense up. They might close their eyes. They might start hiccuping or yawning or frowning or looking niggly. So you just have to focus on your baby's cues. And whenever, you know, you can see that they're in an active alert state, especially when they're older than 3 months and making eye contact with you, you know that they're ready to be stimulated, engaging with you in it's called a serve and a return interaction that you have with your baby.
So now that we know what to look out for when it comes to stimulating our baby and when our little one is ready to have these serve and return interactions, do you have any other activities that you could recommend to parents that do the same for their little one as the one we see in the video?
Yeah, I just want to mention that, interestingly enough, there are 14 different fundamental areas of development. And this one that we're now looking at the moment is one of the 14. So there are many different activities that we can do with babies of this age. Oddly enough, you know, you wouldn't think so, but it's a lot of fun and there are many things that we can do. So I just want to mention that. But in this vein, you know, in this kind of activity, when we think about, look, I said the first thing was looking at bringing, say for instance, bringing your hands together at the midline. At 1 month of age already, you can put something interesting in a baby's hands and just have them hold it at their midline and make them lie on their sides so that they can actually look at this interesting object. Like we have a round plastic circle in the practical program, but you can use anything that's red and round and flat and have your baby hold it within, you know, so that they can look at it and hold it at their midline. So that's in preparation for them being interested in focusing on objects and reaching out to grasp it. Something else, for instance, is just to stimulate your baby's hands, is the awareness of their hands by actually massaging. This is for a 1 month old baby. You can massage the palms of their hands, bring their hands together, rub it together, and, you know, play little clapping games, pat-a-cake games, because remember, they're not aware of the fact that they have hands. So you know, it prepares them for wanting to use these hands to explore the environment by just making them aware of the fact that they have hands. And it's fun, and they respond positively because it's an age-appropriate activity. Then when they're about 2 months old, and they're about 2.5 months old, if you have a baby sitting upright on your lap and you support him against your body and you have something on his side dangling to his side, and you use your other hand to lift. So, okay, it's dangling on his left-hand side. You using your right hand to lift his little hand to swipe at it. They absolutely love the idea that they can use a body part to engage with the environment. And then you dangle an object on the right, to the right of the baby, and you use your left hand to swipe with his right hand. So it's easier for a baby to swipe away from their bodies and to the left and the right than it is to swipe or to reach for something in front of their bodies at the beginning when they're 2 months old. But then when they're about 3.5 months old, they start to automatically bring their hands together at their midline. You'll see on many of the pictures of babies that are 3 months old, they will be lying there with their little hands at their midline, or holding, or just connecting their hands at their midline. It's a natural development for a child who's 3 months old. In fact, when a 3-month-old baby look at something interesting that's far away from them, or like a meter away from them, they will instinctively bring their hands together at their midline, as if they are feeling the urge to want to reach for it. So that's why at the age of 3.5 months, and you can also start to now develop the grasping reflex. It's not a reflex, it's intentional grasping. So what you do is you take something interesting. So say I would take this thing, and I would touch the underside of the baby's hand, and you would open it and close it. So you make sure that it fits into this fold here of the baby's hand. So if you touch, they naturally open it and close it. Initially, it's an instinctive programmed movement, but the more you do it, the more intentional it becomes, because of the brain wiring that is the result of the practice. And that's what you want. Any intentional movement or intentional engagement with the environment is a foundation for intellectual development. So then you'll see from 3.5 months onwards, like on this video that we were watching, this baby is intentionally reaching for this rattle, opening her little hand, grasping it and closing it. That's an intentional movement. And up to the age of 5 months, children will bring both hands together in a mirror-like movement to grasp something at their midline. It's only at the age of 6 months, when the two halves of the body of the brain start to talk to each other, where you will notice that babies will normally, just on their own, start to pass something from one hand to the other, because the two halves of the brain start to talk to each other at the age of 6 months. And that's why that is the first really opportunity that you will have to practice grasping something with one hand and not bringing both hands together in a mirror-like kind of movement. So these are the interesting kind of things just around grasping a simple little object in front of a baby's face.
And I think what's incredible is the fact that if parents are alert, they're aware, and they know what to do, they can look out for these situations and these moments to do something small to help their little one to develop these incredible skills that they'll need further on in their formative years.
Yeah, because it's part of your normal lifestyle. Babies want to interact. Babies want serve and return interactions. They want to be stimulated, and you can have a look out and see when your baby's actively alert. So they are awake and they are making eye contact with you, and especially when they're moving their own little limbs, they are actively wanting to engage. That's a sign of it. When they're like moving their arms or their legs, that's an absolute perfect sign that your baby is ready to be engaging with the environment. So that's when you can do all kinds of little 5-second, 10-second little activities, and just see when your baby is responding in a way that shows that he's becoming niggly, or maybe turning his head away, or just at the age of 3 months, they actually turn their heads away. 2-month-old babies will close their eyes, or they will start hiccuping. Some will fall asleep, or they will tense their little bodies up, and then use that as a cue for you to stop engaging and stop interacting with your baby. So you just go with the flow, do all these little activities as part of your lifestyle, enjoy your baby, see how they develop, and do this in a mindful way. So this is mindful parenting, where you know why you're doing things. That motivates you to do more of it at the right time. And in the end, what you do isn't scarcely and, haphazardly done. It's all focused, and it's very rewarding in that way.
Well, Lizette, thank you so much for this. It has been incredibly insightful. And this is a great start to a fantastic vlog series. And I think this episode really gives parents a great idea of what they can expect from future episodes. Everyone, remember to subscribe to the Practica Program YouTube channel to get notified of new episodes, and subscribe to their newsletter if you want some more helpful hints and tips to do practical parenting. Thank you so much for watching.